I got a message for all these uninformed, as a matter of fact, misinformed idiot liberals out there. Because, yeah, last week we, over in Minneapolis, Renee Good basically got shot and killed by an Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent, a.k.a. ICE agent. And coverage of it has been kind of almost non-stop since the whole week. I'm just going to say this right here because I do believe when it comes to law enforcement giving you a lawful command, you're supposed to obey it, even if you disagree. In other words, comply. Just follow, just obey the law. Follow the law. But at the same time, you don't have to fight them. The issue at hand was Renee Good. The issue at hand was yeah, ICE officers were getting out of their vehicle to literally detain or put an individual in custody. Yeah, I understand Renee Good was a U.S. citizen. However, the problem is that if you let ICE do their job, then she wouldn't have, gotten herself in that predicament in the first place, resulting in her loss of life. I understand it's tragic. However, I also understand that you gotta. I also understand that, you know, if you're these liberals out there always talking about she didn't have to be, she did, a particular criminal didn't have to be, killed or whatever. Well, you know, police involved shootings can vary. All right. You know, there's been times where criminals have literally survived police, officer involved shootings done by law enforcement, whether it be, yeah, that includes ICE. But to say that, yeah, unfortunately for Renee Good, she lost her life. I mean, it, and it is what it is. You gotta put it to you gotta put it that way. Now, do, you know, do you supposed to feel, I don't know, sympathetic for a particular criminal? I sure the hell don't. And if you also want to go this way again, maybe, just maybe, has she not tried to attempt to run over the ICE agent with her car? Maybe if she were to put the car in park and get out of the car and follow ICE's commands, maybe she would still be alive. Now, I said this on social media numerous times before. I said this, and I'm going to keep saying it again, and I hate to sound like a broken record. I've had I've had police encounters before. And, I literally said, yes, sir, no, sir, to them, things like that. But I gotta say this verbatim. How many times have those police encounters I've endured gone south? You want to know the answer? None. 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 Now, I will also go on the record and say this. If Renee Good was black, and I'm talking to these black leftists out there too, if Renee Good was black, the Twin Cities would end up being torn up again, destroyed by fire again, like how it was with when it came to that police involved incident, you know, about that crackhead, about that fentanyl head, George Floyd, back in 2020. And you know what? It's funny. Another thing was funny is that um, the, that woke buffoon of a mayor, Jacob Fry, this the same mayor that pushed for defunding the police back in 2020 when the crackhead George Floyd was resisting arrest and and getting killed supposedly by the hands of cops, when in reality he died from overdosing on fentanyl. But that's another story. So bottom line, comply. If you don't want a bad outcome by police officers, do what they say. Because I'm so sick of everybody thinking that this ICE involved shooting involving Renee Good was tyrannical. Give me a break. There's nothing tyrannical about that. I'm Chuck Johnson, a.k.a. Kid Thunder. I'm out.